my career trajectory and the business that we do at Free the People was always meant to be sort of transpartisan, reaching across partisan divides and finding those common issues and common values that might hold people together. But when lockdowns happened, I had the same reaction you did. I'm like, this is the most insane punishing of people at the bottom of the economic ladder. Like, I was thinking about it as an economist, and you were perhaps thinking about it as a mom who saw the damage being done to kids. But it was so obvious from day one that this would be insanely destructive, and that the destruction would not hit everybody equally, and to be punished for voicing those concerns, particularly from the woke left. I'm still trying to figure out exactly why that's happening.
I think that's right. I'm still by it because it seems to be such a violation of the values that they profess to hold dear.
Yeah.
Protection of children, of the underclass, equality. I mean, we denied equality of opportunity, not just to children with closed schools, but to small business owners, and the folks who had the least suffered the most. And we know it was the largest upward transfer of wealth ever, basically. So the very rich, not just the rich, but the very rich got much, much, much richer. And everybody else suffered. 25 million people were laid off due to lockdowns. Where was the outrage? Everyone's mad about Elon Musk laying off 3,700 well-paid tech workers. It's still enraging to me to this day. 25 million people lost their jobs. These were largely underinsured, hourly wage workers with no savings to get them through. And all people shouted about was, well, we need to send them $1,000 check. How long do you think that lasted, that $1,000?
Yeah.
Not very long. And so it seemed such an obvious trespass of the values the left claimed to hold so dear. And the hypocrisy, it was driving me insane. I couldn't stop, even when I knew my job was at risk. And I will tell you, there was a real moment of truth for me, which was in the fall of 2020, when all the private schools opened in my city, where I used to live, of San Francisco. All my peers sent their kids back to private school and told me I had to stay quiet about public school children.
Yeah.
And there was no turning back for me. It just exposed the whole lie. And I was like, you're all liars.
Yeah. It's this whole have versus have not created by COVID, because my reaction as an economist early on, you may remember that early on there was a hashtag, stay the fuck home. And I thought about it. I'm like, what if you actually meant that and everybody had to stay home? It would be a unspeakable catastrophe. People would start starving to death in a couple of weeks, and it would start obviously with people at the margins, not people with ice cream packed in their freezer, like you know who. I won't mention her, but obviously that's not what they really meant. They meant that those people who are privileged enough to have the wealth and the safety to stay home, they would stay home, and they would expect so-called essential workers to produce the food somehow. They don't know how food is produced, but they're going to produce it. And as long as that Uber Eats driver comes to their door with it, you're doing the virtuous thing. And it's so insanely elitist and out of touch.